Hello bloggy friends and YouTubers, welcome to my first ever scrapbooking process video. And I've got together all the things I think I'm going to use, but if it goes as it usually does, I shall be throwing in more stuff as I go along, and lots of this won't get used at all. Starting point for me is always the photo. So here's, I love these little boxes that they send the photos in. I waited for a special offer to come along. I think I got these 50 photos for £5 or something. So I've got all these are still pictures from our wedding. One of the one group of our guests, as a surprise for us, sorted out this silly hat photo booth idea. Oh, it was brilliant. I like these photos better than any of our other wedding photos. This is the one I'm going to scrap today. This is me and my husband. There's a whole series of these. You can see that when we first sat down. Here we are. Here we think we're posing for the picture and everything's fine. Then we realise people are laughing and we don't know why. So I'm the first one to notice. John's still blissfully ignorant there. We've got our words the wrong way around, so it says married just. Then we've swapped them over and everything is right, and I just love these photos. And then there's a whole load of, these are just some of them, a whole load of pictures of our guests also dressed up in. Everybody could choose whatever hats and moustaches they wanted. It was so much fun, and it made people really natural, and just everybody was messing about. It's lovely. And I gave them chalkboards to write notes on, and here's two of my scrappy friends, Trina and Julie. Can't wait to scrap it. Some of the people who helped us work so hard for us on our wedding day. It was all do it yourself. Do it yourself with the help of friends. Oh, I just love these photos. My dad and his wife, the wild ones. These were our security guys. There's two of the girls who put the whole thing together. Hope you like it. Oh, really brings back happy memories. So pop these out of the way. Don't need to hear me rambling on about them. I'll probably edit this bit out in a minute. Right, put that out of the way. So I've actually trimmed that down to about a 4-inch square. Yeah. And put that to one side for a minute. So here are the papers I'm going to use. They're a mixture of papers. Some of them came in my quirky kit from last month. I haven't even started on this month's yet, and some of them are quite old papers I've been hanging on to, I think. So, so this is a scrap of an old one I've been hanging on to. It's a Teresa Collins one from the Daily Stories collection. I love that. I like the black stripe, but I also love the pretty butterflies on the back, so I might cut some of them out and use them on my page. I want to also start doing a focal page, and then a few kind of project lifestyle pocket pages, just to get a lot of pictures scrapped really quickly. So I might make some little pocket fillers with the leftovers as well. So that's that one. This was from my quirky kit. This is a Dear Lizzie Serendipity Little Things. I suppose Little Things is the collection. I never understand these things. I love how when some of these papers make it so that the merchandising strip on the bottom is actually usable. Fall in love with as many things as possible. I love that. They don't all do it, but a lot of them do now, I notice. Also from the quirky kit, this is a We Are Memory Keepers one, Love Notes collection. I love that shade of green. Our wedding colours are all pink and green, so some of them are quite leery pinks and greens, and some of them are quite soft and gentle, so anything goes. And this one reminds me of confetti. My other favourite photos from my wedding were the confetti pictures, so I need to save a little bit of it for that as well. That's papers. And this one also came, I think, in last month's quirky kit. American Crafts, The Colour of Memories. I love this. I like the chalkboard frame. I like that as well. It's like, instead of just being a plain black spot, it's a black background and little like chalk dots. When you look close, you've got to be able to pick that up on the camera, but it's quite a nice effect in real life. I just love those chalkboard frames. Excuse me. And also in the kit came this, which I haven't used yet. It's an American Crafts permanent chalk marker pen. So I thought, oh, it'd be a good opportunity to try this, because in the photo there we've got chalkboards and we've written "just married" on. So that's the idea. And then I've got just a sheet of, this is actually paper that comes, you know, as part of packing. But I always keep them because they're quite handy for mounting photos or stamping images onto and that kind of thing. So I've got a sheet of that I'll probably use. And then a sheet of plain white, a nice soft white. I don't like a bluish white, I like these sort of slightly soft whites. And a black. I'm also, I'll put this there a minute. I've also got a few pretty bits and bobs. There's a paper doily. Also reminiscent of our day, we had a homemade cake stall as pudding. Well, it wasn't a store, you didn't have to buy it, it was free, but you know, I'm rambling. And then these are from my quirky kit as well. This is a vellum die cut with an arrow and the word true. I'm doing this page for Jennifer Grace's blog hop, and her theme word is focus. It's the Focus Your Craft and Soul blog event. Jennifer's blog events are always fun, so I said I'd join in with the blog hop. So I'm going to use lots of little icon like arrows and frames, which will focus attention on my subject. That's the plan. So there's an arrow. There's another arrow, a paperclip arrow. I love these. These are just here because I love them. More vellum die cuts for my quirky kit. These are just like big ink splats. I love them. These are, oh, I did have 3. Where the third one's gone. I've got the 3 left. So this was probably a quirky kit as well. I love getting these kits because they just give you a little taste of lots of things I perhaps wouldn't find in the shops near me otherwise. So I've picked out that word because it's the right colour, and this heart. Not necessarily going to use all of these things, they're just here as possibilities. I love that little heart. So I'm already starting to play with an arrangement on the page, but that's probably nothing like it's going to end up. And these little pins, we had these for making up our buttonholes with, so I've got a few left still to use. I'm trying to use them up on the pages about the wedding. This is this is from Happy Scatter, which is Jennifer Grace's shop. I've got this little wooden, I had a pack of her little wood veneer shapes, which is lovely. I thought this one I might be able to bring in somewhere. I might paint it. I like painting wood veneer pieces. I've got some brightly coloured washi tape. I've got some scraps of trims here. I thought that's quite pretty. Don't want to be too pink though. I've got to bring in the green and I need that pop of black. I don't want it to be too... And these are flowers I've made myself in various ways. So this was cut from an old bag. I did do a blog post about it, how I cut up an old bag and made it into flowers and things. So I might, if I remember, I'll put a link to that below. And I've just used the Tattered Florals, Tim Holtz Tattered Florals die to cut the pieces, layered them up and used some buttons to finish them with and bits of thread. So I don't know, this is far too many flowers but I've just got a selection. This one was made from the zip cut from that old bag and then I just sort of spiraled it round and stuck it down with hot glue and finished it with a button. It's quite fun. Again, this was the lining of the old bag, which I frayed out and again used a hot glue gun to stick it all together. There needs a button or something in the middle, I think. And that one, with that one it was a strip of the lining, and then I think I used a lighter or something just to singe the ends, which made it crinkle up, and again spiraled it round with a hot glue gun and finished it with a button. So I may just use one of them. Excuse me. I've got my leaf die out. This is a what's the make? Nestabilities. Box doesn't help because it's the box didn't come with them. Anyway, I'll try and remember to put that in my blog post. I'll link up to my blog post with sort of better details of anything I've used. And then I've got my Happy Scatter. I should stamp something on there. Which Way Arrows stencil. It's a perfect opportunity to use that, as it's for Jennifer's blog hop. and I just think arrows will fit in really nicely with my theme. So see what I can do with those a bit later. My own Georgie stamp set. This is my version. They don't come looking as mucky as this, but this one's been used a lot. So obviously it's not going to be appropriate to use the little girl on this one, but I might use the butterflies and the glasses. It'd be quite fun. Perhaps for the pocket page cards I'll make to go with it. The hearts I might use, the butterfly trail, the photo corners and the stitching. So see what I can do with that. And then I've got this stamp out, which I don't even know who made this anymore. And I never even put it on a block. I tend to use it like this, just to give a dab of, it's just a very fine text. I don't know what it says, you can't read it, I can't read it with my old eyes. But it just gives a little, sometimes I just use it around the edge of a page. So I always tend to keep that handy. I've got this lovely little camera stamp, how cute is that? It came in a kit at the recent Scrap Stars retreat and it's lovely. I've got some other bits and pieces I might use. Cork arrows, which I love. American Crafts cork arrows, they're cute, aren't they? These were, I think these were £1 or something in Hobbycraft. All the range. I can't remember, but they were really cheap. I couldn't believe how cheap they were. And the fact that they're moustaches and glasses and hats are just perfect. I've got to try and use some of them on this page. And I've got this, these enamel shapes. I think I got these from SJ Cross. She's closed down now. So I thought with the arrows and hearts would be perfect for this. Perhaps just pick out the bright pink or green. And then finally I've got some little mini alphas. This set's so handy. I've got a selection of alphas I may or may not use. I think I'm ready to kick off. So I'm going to stop gabbling now, and I'm going to speed the film up and do a voiceover. I've already gone ahead and cut some smaller pieces of the pattern papers to make it more manageable, and I've just cut my white cardstock. I'm just showing you my iPad there, Essential Equipment. I've cut my white cardstock a little bit smaller than the black, so it's just got a very narrow frame for the whole page, and I've quickly just arranged my pieces of paper fairly haphazardly there, and my ink splats, adding my little doily there and the little acetate word, my little vellum die cut there, and now I'm using the Tim Holtz paper distresser tool, and I'm just doodling around the edge of all the pieces, and this will take a little while, so I'll probably edit this out. I'm mad into doodling at the moment, and I think roughing up the edges like that just gives it a bit of depth and texture, which I really like. So I've arranged all those pieces together in a way that I find pleasing, and now I'm going to use a little tip that I saw online somewhere and staple them all together. I'm obviously dithering a bit still about the exact best arrangement of these pieces of paper. And there we are, and I've just stapled them all together in one lump, and I'm very pleased with myself there. Spot the obvious mistake. I've left the doily out. So I'm just roughing up all the edges a little bit more there. I quite like if the underside of the papers show. And I'm stapling all those little folds down. Shame I hadn't noticed the doily yet. Oh dear, never mind. Just staple that, make sure it's really, really secure. I'm just popping a bit of sticky on the back, but just in the middle so I can still slot things underneath. Then I realised about the doily, took all the staples out, laid it all back together again. See, I don't think it looks quite as good now. Well, I've just used a bit of that tape runner to stick the vellum down. I don't think it shows through. I think it looks fine. Sometimes I staple them on. I've added the little arrow paper clip there. And I'm just popping my photo onto that waste card, and I cut it down to sort of make it look a bit like a Polaroid frame. Doodling again. I'm going to doodle around
all the edges of this one. It kind of gives it an almost cartoony effect, which I think is perfect for this theme actually. Sticking that down again, leaving the edges clear, just tucking it under the paper clip. More tape runner for the vellum die cut there, and I'm going to staple the acetate word, like the sort of haphazard look of staples. I'll pop in that pin in, that buttonhole pin, and I put a cork arrow on there, but actually that disappears later on. Now I've got those little wood shapes, and I'm using an Adirondack black paint dabber to just colour them. So I'm doing a pair of glasses there as well. My glasses are reactor lights, so I was wearing sunglasses when I got married. Oh, now I'm going to pop the title on. Obviously it's easy to get carried away and forget to leave space for the title, isn't it? I'm just going to have the word just to echo the just in the photo, the just married, and also the whole title becomes Just True Love, which I quite like. Just True Love. Oh yeah, now I'm starting to play around with some of those little pieces, but I've decided to make my arrows next. So I've got the Happy Scatter stencil, and I'm just stenciling through with some distress inks there. I think that's Picked Raspberry and Mowed Lawn. And then I've got a micron pen, Sakura micron pen. I think it's an 08. Just to doodle around that arrow shape. I use this pen a lot for doodling. I do a lot of doodling on my scrapbook pages at the moment. So now I'm cutting out. It's going to take a little while. There we are. What? Cut out quite a lot. This is where that little cork arrow bites the dust, I think. I'm just diddling around deciding where I want all these arrows to go. Yeah, look, the cork arrow's disappeared now. And I'm sticking the arrows on with foam dots to lift them up a little bit. There we are. And now I'm playing around with some of these mini alphas. I'll sort of think about using the black. Pink is a bit too pink. The green is a bit too green. And I've come back to that off-white again. So now I'm just going to stick them onto some of the green pattern paper and doodle around. I quite like that gives them a little border, and also I can play around with their position as well because they're not sticky anymore. Yeah. Giving it a little bit of definition. I just can't stop doodling at the moment. Playing around with the position of them a little bit, but they do end up back where they started eventually. Now I'm going to add a little chalkboard frame to echo the ones that we're holding in the picture. I'm not quite sure where that's going to go, but it does end up, funnily enough, more or less where I first put it. Under the arrow, not sure. And I'm just trying out my chalk marker on a bit of the sort of waist. And I'm writing the date of our wedding on there. And I felt it was a little bit light to start with. I think I'm going to hold it up to the camera now so you can see. It's not too bad. But I do end up going over it again, which looks a bit better. Now I've got some of that pretty trim out. I've had this trim for ages. I think it's so pretty and I never actually get round to using it. I'm determined to use it this time. I've cut it into 2 pieces so I can have a bit either side. And then here's one of those flowers, those homemade flowers that I'm desperate to bring in. And I'm just going over that lettering on the chalkboard frame again. And that's coming up much more clearly this time. I'm much happier with that. Now here's some chalkboard heart stickers. which I suddenly remembered I'd got and had a little rummage for. So I'm cutting one of them out, leaving it on the back end for now so I can move it around a bit. And I'm writing J for A, John for Annie. Still not quite sure where it's going to go, but it's one side, and I've cut out the little camera that I stamped onto some of the scrap white card. Just carefully cutting around it. I don't think it actually makes it onto the layout in the end though. So one of the most fun parts of doing a scrapbook page is digging through all my stash and finding all the stuff that'll go, oh, here I start playing with the idea of maybe framing the picture even more with some twine, but again, that doesn't make the cut in the end. I'm cutting little triangles now at the pattern paper for bunting. This is so similar to the colour bunting that we actually had for our wedding. We made 100 metres of the stuff. And I've decided I like odd numbers, so I try to go for, I think, 5 on the left and 3 on the right. I'm doodling around all the edges, which is going to get a bit boring, so I'll probably cut this bit. Oh, there we go. And they're all done. 5 on the left is looking a little bit too many, actually. So anyway, I've started fiddling around with some of the other bits and bobs, some of those black painted wood pieces. Desperate to get that other moustache in. I'm procrastinating about that. Put that to one side for a bit, add some washi tape up the top, fiddle around with the camera a bit more, take everything off and start sticking it in. The trim's actually got used this time. Just sticking the edge of that paper down a little bit. It kept coming up and pulling the arrow up with it. Now I want to try and get some of these leaves in. I think I decided it's too much. I really want to get that flower in as well, but it's just too much. I'm putting some foam tape on the back of the chalkboard there just to raise it up a little bit. And, sticking those words in. And now I'm going to stick the bunting on, and I've put a little foam pad on just the tips to raise them up a little bit, give them a bit of dimension. And the wood pieces came with these funny little sticky dots, which I'm trying to use, but they didn't work that well. I had to help them along with glue in the end. But they were so cheap, I'm not complaining. Got plenty of glue. Still trying to get the moustache in. It keeps moving around the page. Nope, it's pushed to one side again. Oh, try a bit of bunting up there. No. Try the camera again. Balance up the top corner by putting some washi tape on the bottom corner. Taking that last bit of bunting off because it really was too much. And I'm just finishing off the bunting on the right hand side. Put a bit of black washi tape over the pink because the pink was too much. You want the moustache out again, and the camera. Oh, and 12 bites. And my husband came home from the shopping and brought me a bag of 12 bites, my favourites. And now I'm cutting out another chalkboard frame because I've decided I need to. Oh, look, and I'm cutting open a bag of 12s. And I've decided that's just too square. There's too many square pieces, so I've cut out a round frame now. A bit of a contrast, and tucking that in there. And at this point I'm just starting to wonder if I've thrown far too much at this page. But I carry on going because I've got all these lovely goodies out now and I really want to use them. Here comes the leaf again and the flower again. No, put them away. So I've taken that moustache away and I put the hat on instead. Can I have the moustache as well? Oh, I don't know. I think I could have done. Anyway, the moustache has got no. It's. Oh, see, I think it would have been right there as well. And now I'm just using the stitching from my Georgie stamp set to add a little bit of definition around the edge of the bottom left and top right corners. And then when that's all done, I add some twine to my bunting. And that's about it. I'll hand back over to myself.
Well, I think I'm done. I really don't think I can throw any more stuff at this thing. It's not going to get any better. So now I'm going to walk away from it for a couple of hours and come back and see if I like it any better. I hope you enjoyed watching my slightly chaotic process. Thanks very much for watching. See you again soon. Bye.